following is a production of Dirty Mo Media. Hey everybody, it's Dale Jr. back again for another episode of the Dale Jr. Download with my co-host TJ Majors. We're in the Arby's studio. This episode is presented to you by Arby's, and they have the new Meat in 3 box. Yeah, you get more meal for your money at Arby's. We have the meats, and we've got a great show for you today. We got a lot to talk about. Coming up, we're going to talk to Rodney Childers a little bit about his experience so far in the O'Reilly Series, and also talk to race winner William Sawalich from Rockingham, getting his first win.
Big win.
Awesome. William's a great young kid that struggled last year. You know, there's a lot of hype coming in around him with his success in the late models and super late models. And so, you know, he had a tough year last year trying to learn the ropes in the O'Reilly Series, but uncovered that first win in Rockingham, and I think it's one of many more that have come down in the future.
That's got to be tough because in racing, you're going to lose a whole lot more than you're going to win, even if you're one of the greatest drivers ever. So doing it at a young age and failing a lot, it's got to be a lot to learn.
Well, I think that, you know, when he comes in and struggles, there's a couple things that I think you go, all right, you know, that's to be expected. Will he get the time to develop? You know,
that's the biggest thing.
Is the next thing, yeah. And so, you know, he's 19. He doesn't, I mean, he's raced a long time and got a lot of laps, but he doesn't have a lot of laps, right? He's still very young, and golly, man, I was nowhere. I mean, this is the easiest thing for me to do is to look back at myself when I was 19. Was I ready for that? No. Would I have failed? Yes. Not at that age. I was not prepared for anything like that, and we're putting these guys in these situations and really forcing them to, like, mature at a rapid rate.
Even way younger than you were, right?
Yeah. I mean, I really didn't get to going in the Xfinity Series till I was 24, 25 years old.
Yeah, which is way past what they are.
Yeah. It feels like that anyways. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, 98, 99, I was 24, 25 years old.
That's a big difference than 19.
Right.
That is way
So,
you look at Brent Cruz out there. Like, these kids are young.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just starting to race cars. I had a year of driving anything under my belt, you know, pretty much around 17, 18 years old. So it's pretty remarkable. I think we expect these guys to just go out there and do things, and they're still living at home. You know what I mean? They're not even taking out their own trash yet. You know what I'm saying? They don't even have the responsibility of, you know, of traditional, normal, everyday things that, you know, people handle responsibilities. I don't know.
So do you think that's a bad thing, though?
I don't. I'm just saying. We expect them to go win races.
I know, but do you think there is a more successful path with waiting before you push them into that position young?
What? I mean, it's a
like you went in there and you pretty much won real early in your career.
No. I was 24.
In the Xfinity Series, you won. O'Reilly Series, you won pretty early.
Yeah, but I was 24 years old.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, what?
It's kind of like, you know what? It's a lot like these athletes in college, you know, that are going through, you know, getting that 6th, 7th year of eligibility. They're like 23, 24 years old playing quarterback, and
super smart at that point.
they're just better mentally for the tough moments and the you know. Man, I need to. If I can't get this, you know, it's a couple seconds left in the game, and I need to get the ball out of bounds. I need to throw it incomplete. If I can't find something quickly, so I have another.
Yeah.
You know the game management type of stuff, and so, you know, you don't have that. I didn't have that at 19. I was going to get in the car and wreck the hell out of the thing at 19 years old, destroy it, and I would have done that a lot, and I would have probably have been canned. Before I was 23 years old, but luckily, you know, my path happened the way it happened because I don't think I would have netted out.
It'd be hard
had I started at 19. The tough part is that these guys, you know, their opportunity, the funding and all the things that they need and that has to be there for them to get chances is there now, right? It might not be there if they wanted to wait for themselves to get better at the lower ranks or the grassroots ranks. Well, this money that can afford them this opportunity in the O'Reilly Series, it may not be there at, in 3 or 4 years when they're more mentally prepared for the moment. And so, I just think about there's a lot of drivers that are in the Cup Series now that, that didn't actually come into the series and win races out of the gate. It took a while for them to start to click, and luckily there were people that were patient and waiting. And, I feel like that's kind of the case with a guy like William. I mean, he's still 19 years old, 20 years old, and getting ready to try to go win his second Xfinity or O'Reilly race after this weekend. And, yeah, but I don't know. I if they can come in at 19 and win races, awesome. If they can't, I think we have to be patient. And I have to remind myself, like, man, don't write this dude off.
You never know.
He's 19, golly, don't write him off, right? Still might have it. Because you can give up. We give up on him as an industry, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if we waited another year or two, he's a future Cup champion. Who knows?
Do you think Connor Zilisch could have used another year of O'Reilly?
Connor's the answer to that to everyone is yes.
Yeah.
Everyone can stand to benefit from more time
if the opportunity is still there.
If you can afford to do it.
Yeah, I've always thought you got to run 2 full years of O'Reilly before you go to Cup to be fully prepared.
But you got guys. There's guys that, when extended that opportunity to race Cup, have to take it.
Oh, for sure.
Even when they're not ready.
Yeah.
That's the sucky part. Is
you
like,
might never get another one.
Yeah. You can't go, no, I'm not ready. I'll run O'Reilly one more year, and then that year ends, and there's no Cup opportunity in front of you.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah, I've always been a 2-year O'Reilly, 2 full years. But you're right though. Sometimes you have such a great first year, the opportunities come up.
Yeah.
You got to take them.
Does that 2-year? Does it matter as much now with the next gen car, where the O'Reilly car is not necessarily as the similar? So
It's
do you
not
still
that.
think
It's not just the car similarities to me. It's just learning the mental thing, like we talk about.
Yeah.
Like you
Yes.
gotta.
Racecraft, decision-making, judgment.
Yes, like it's learning how to race around these, learning just the things you see every week. That he's not even gonna be able to tell you everything that he learned at Rockingham. He learned way more than what we'll ever know. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of Rockingham, we'll quickly touch on Cleetus McFarland. So that's a great example. So Cleetus McFarland gets loose, getting down in the corner early in the race, gets a run off of turn 4 and goes 3 wide. Right? That is something that he experiences and he learned in that moment, like, yep, don't need to do that again. He's down at the bottom of the racetrack, entering as shallow as possible into turn 1. And
it's a bad spot.
It is. And that's the thing, Travis. That is the thing that we're talking about that you were in this conversation with a second ago.
I'm still listening.
All right. Well, we don't need to watch it. So the racecraft, you said, well, does it matter? Should he just the cars are so different, should he just go on to Cup? Well, he needs to learn not to do that. He needs to learn that in the Xfinity Series, in the Truck Series, and there's 1,000 things like that. Like driving down underneath 2 guys into the turn 1 at Rockingham. There's 1,000 other things, like spinning out off of 4 in this weird aero situation in Daytona that only happens in Daytona, or only happens in that moment, right? You got to go through those things, and that's where you do it. You do it in the truck in the O'Reilly Series, and you go, okay, yeah, that's something I got to pay attention to next time, and I won't do that again, and that's so yeah. Every year, every race you can run in those series teaches you those things of what not to do and what to be careful with and what aero situations are bad. And I know the cars are different, yes, but you're still learning precautions, being conservative, being smart, waiting, being patient, living to race the next corner, those kind of things.
And you want to see guys go back through and look at the tools now that now there was SMT at Rockingham this time, so we can go back and look at moves people made. Like Cleetus can now go back and look at his race on there and learn from that. And Sunday night me and Carson already went through the entire race. He had an in-car camera too, so we went through the entire SMT clip, and then we turned that off and went through the entire in-car camera, just what he was looking at. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that?
Yep.
In this position next time, this is, like, what's your mindset here? So he can learn from that. And there's, like you said, there's 1,000 other things that you learn throughout that race or you try to improve on that carry over to the next race. Mm-hmm. And that's how you get better and better.
Well, I think the Cleetus McFarland experience was a good one.
He had a really good ARCA race. Solid ARCA race.
Top 5.
Yeah.
And he did spin out. He did have a couple of goof ups in the O'Reilly race, but everybody survived it. Nobody, didn't crash anybody. I think that the things that he did won't be front. The mistakes that he made won't be front page news, and that was the goal. Mm-hmm. Is not to be the story. From everything else we know, he was not in the way, running his laps, learning, getting better. What does he do next? That's the big question: is where does he go from here, and what does NASCAR do with this? Right? There's been some speculation, I think, on, what do you think? What do we think NASCAR's next move is? Because they have some of the puppet strings here in their hands. If I think I know what I know about Cleetus is he's like, Daytona and Talladega are kind of the easiest. You hold it wide open. Handling's not really as big of a deal, and there's not. I don't have to worry about shaping the corner or worried about an apex
stuff,
an apex or anything like that. He just hold it on the mat and work the draft and dodge wrecks. And so he, in his mind, he's like, man, I just want to do Daytona. I just want to do Talladega, ARCA trucks, whatever, right? But at some point, NASCAR's got to kind of step in the way and go, nah, man, you can only go to this. You can only go this far before we need you to do some other things. And I think that's kind of the point we're at now.
Which is right, because a mistake at Talladega can take out 30 cars.
Yeah, so I guess the question is now that he's done Rockingham, will he then request the next race to be his next race, his next opportunity? Where is that going to be? Is he gonna, are they gonna take a stab at trying to go to Talladega or Daytona next in the O'Reilly Series? Will NASCAR approve that? Will they say no?
Did you see enough?
I saw enough to not approve him for Daytona or Talladega in the O'Reilly Series. To be quite honest with you, I only saw what I was not present and in person for any of this, but I watched the YouTube video from the truck test with Nice. I watched the YouTube video of his O'Reilly test with RCR, and then I watched the race. And in all 3 of those, he busted his ass. Now, he didn't hit anything except for the truck. He did wall the truck off of 2. But in all 3 of those instances, he lost control of the car or the truck. I would say, and I told him this after the race, like the Rockingham surface and tire is going to be one of the more trickier ones. It's a hard tire. It's a relatively repaved surface, so it's got a very small window before you bust your ass, and it's easy to bust your ass. So I actually expected him to wreck in the Rally Series. I expected him to knock the damn tailgate, the deck lid off the car. He didn't. So that was a surprise, I guess. Not a surprise, but I just expected him to. But he got. I
did too.
Yeah, he got to the end. He finished the race. So
the race was fairly clean overall, but yes.
Yeah. But I think he definitely. I would say no. I need 1, 2, maybe 3 more events somewhere else before you're gonna get this opportunity in the O'Reilly Series to go to Daytona or Talladega. Now, by all means, ARCA, run all you can. Like if I were him, and if I were NASCAR, I'd be trying to get him in more ARCA races. Every single opportunity to run all these little bull rings and short tracks. Yeah.
If he keeps going and running 4 top 5 in ARCA, he's going to look like he belongs.
Well, he needs to not only look like it, but he needs to actually belong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? and you kind of button up against, I think, the threshold of, all right, man, you can play in this pool, but you got to do a little bit more of this before you can get over into the deep end.
Yeah.
And so I think, we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. I'd be curious, I guess, to what the conversation's like in the NASCAR building around Cleetus and where they kind of think they.
And I think you lose some of that when you're not racing week in and week out, and you're just coming in. You're kind of you have to reset, and you're just not having that muscle memory.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, to do what he did this weekend, and I know he busted his ass a couple times, but to do what he did was really, really phenomenal for a guy that has no racing background, didn't grow up in a racing family, didn't grow up around racetracks all his life. He understand. I figured that this would be I figured that this would be the situation. So Jimmy Johnson raced motorcycles and stadium trucks. Before Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time champion that we all know, that when we think about Jimmy Johnson, we think about stock cars, we think about NASCAR, we think about Jimmy Johnson came from outdoor stadium truck, West Coast, California, drive the out of it, jumping jumps and being a maniac, and then decided to get into a stock car in the O'Reilly series. And Jimmy was able to be successful because I think that, all the things that he was doing in those stadium trucks and motorcycles, like you're doing a lot of things in that type of vehicle off of feel and precision. Even though it looks chaotic and wild and crazy, you're out of control. You're in control. You're driving. You're in a slide at 90% of the lap.
There's a lot of variables.
There's just a lot of car control. There's a ton of car control that you develop that can absolutely be automatically applied to anything with 4 wheels. And I think Cleetus has done a lot of funny stunts and a lot of wild things, but at the same time, he has learned the limits of anything with 4 tires on it. Like he can get into pretty much any vehicle and take it out on the racetrack and put it to the limits of its capabilities, and really, and he's done those things so many times in his videos and so forth. And I think he can apply the same sort of it's understood physics, right? That his mind and his body, he can look at a car, look at it, drive it a little bit, and go, I think I kind of understand where the window is here, where I can play without and still be in control, right? And so he can get in the O'Reilly car and go out and test for 4 hours and pretty much get it up against the limit of the tire and the slip angle of the tire and get within a decent lap time, quicker than most, because of how much that he's driven to the limit of control and gone out of control multiple times, right?
Yeah, you learn.
Yeah. So I think it's just like he's taken all of that information and everything he's ever done and he just applies, for lack of a better way to describe it, he just takes the physics and everything that he's understood about inertia and momentum and grip and tire and rubber and pavement and contact patches and all the things that he didn't even know he was really cataloging and computing and processing into this little hard drive in his brain. He's got all that information and he's just applying that to this, right? Because he doesn't know any better. He doesn't have anything else. And so he goes out on the racetrack and he goes, I know how to drive something with 4 tires on it fast and out of control and to the limit. And he finds he can kind of understand over the course of a couple hours where the limit is to this vehicle, right? And then he takes all that and then the information that he gets from RCR and all the help that he gets from them and all the advice he gets from anybody that he calls. I know he calls me or texts me after he practices, tests, race, whatever. I don't know who else he's reaching out to, but I'm sure several people. and he's listening. If you tell him, dude, go out there and look, he's used to going anywhere and being the story. He's used to going everywhere and making noise and making it great, gaining attention, like getting clicks, getting views. Like that's his job. But we told him in this moment, don't be the story. Do everything you can to be out of the story. And right, that's a complete working against everything he knows. And he did it. He listened. He took that to heart.
The amount of Cleetus shirts that I saw last weekend was incredible. Like,
yeah.
So the fans are grasping onto him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we knew that would happen.
Yeah.
That's why NASCAR loves this.
Yeah.
So that's why NASCAR is trying to.
That's a difficult spot NASCAR is in.
It
now.
is. It's a difficult spot.
It is, right.
Right. So how do they kind of can they properly, like nurture this?
They want him to succeed.
Oh, they do. Who doesn't? So but they've got to do it the right way. If they throw his ass into the Rally Series at Talladega, I don't know, Maybe that is definitely not the next step for him. His next step is another race somewhere else, right? He should be racing Bristol. He should be racing ARCA, and more truck races and everything from a mile and under. Go race. But I know it costs money.
So we got Bristol and Kansas coming up. ARCA Kansas race.
Sure,
I'd definitely be running that if I were him.
All those things take money though. Every time he jumps in that ARCA car, I imagine somebody's spending $20,000, $25,000 at a minimum.
Oh, at a minimum,
right?
I'm sure.
Every time he goes and jumps in a truck, I'm sure that's costing somebody $75,000
or more
than that. Anytime he goes and races in a rally car, at minimum, that's costing somebody $125,000, $150,000. Somebody. Now, I don't think that Cleetus is on the hook for all of that, and I don't think that his partners are funding that entirely, but somebody is, right? And at some point, it might be a little bit of NASCAR's money going into this stuff, So it just needs to be a plan. There needs to be a plan. And the other thing that's interesting is, and we talked about it on the show with him, is he's got to come to a decision at some point of how much of this he wants to do and how much of his other life, because it's an entirely other thing going on over here.
And he's pausing that to do this.
Yeah, his social media, which makes him millions of dollars. He's his YouTube page and all that, and his merchandise and everything that he does with that. That's a thing that has to kind of keep going. That machine's got to keep going, right? Can they merge together?
That machine made this possible.
Yeah, I'm just he said, like, if I do this more, I have to do less of that. Like, he sees it as one or the other, and he ain't gonna come over. He's not gonna come over to NASCAR and make the kind of money he's making on the YouTube side. Like, his YouTube brand is already a functioning, well-oiled,
it's great,
profitable business. And he is not going to come over here and make that kind of money.
And probably doesn't have the stress you getting in these cars. And
I just know he's just not going to come over here and make that kind of money. Yeah. So even if things went well, I think that's a more lucrative thing, and he's got to decide, like, all right. And he's got a family, he's got kids, and he's got all those things too to juggle. It's a tough situation, but a good situation.
Yeah.
Arby's is putting the pedal to the metal with value that breaks away from the pack. Introducing the new Meat in 3 box for $7.99 that's filled with Arby's quality favorites. The Meat in 3 box now has new sandwiches for you to choose from. You get your choice between a crispy chicken sandwich, or a crispy fish sandwich, or a ham and Swiss melt. And every Meat in 3 box comes with melty mozzarella sticks and some crispy curly fries. And a peach cobbler roll for dessert. This thing's just giving sweet as a peach a whole new meaning. Plus, you get a small drink. It's Meat in 3, but you're getting 5 items. There's so much food in there, all for only $7.99. Arby's is giving you more meal for your money and is filling you up with your favorite food that you just can't get anywhere else. Arby's is known for always giving you more than you expect. Available for a limited time at participating locations while supplies last. Prices may vary. Get your Meat in 3 box at any Arby's near you today. All right, so we got Rodney Childers at the desk, and thought, we didn't have a cup races past weekend. Be a good opportunity to highlight a little bit of the Rally Series and One of the great additions to junior motorsports this year has been Rodney. And I know I've been, seeing some of the, media out in the past, probably, I don't know, a couple of months, been quizzing you a little bit about your experience so far. I know you're, hard to do at this table with me and TJ sitting here, but can you give us an honest assessment of, what did you think this was going to be like? What's been some surprises? What's been some good things? What are some things about our operation, I suppose, that are different from what you're used to? Or
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was probably one of the odd ones that never bush raced or Xfinity raced, before I went cup racing. So, my whole experience has just been cup racing the whole time. And so really I didn't know what it would be like to go run the O'Reilly series and what the schedules are like and, what's your week flow look like and all those things. And honestly, it's been great. And my experience here has been great too. I really love the atmosphere here and a lot of the things for the last 25 years that you wish would happen, at a race team, and have some luncheons and have an ice cream truck come by and have a beer toast when you win races. I mean, we went through a spell there where we won like 12 cup races in 1 year and we had one luncheon the whole year, and it's like, you always think about those things and the employees and stuff like that. And, that's the biggest thing that has stood out to me is just the family atmosphere and the way that the week flows and all those things. And really it's just been perfect timing for me, to be able to come home and be home on Sundays. And my mom's went through a few things and she's in a little nursing home type thing now. So I get to spend Sundays with her and my dad. So, just everything's worked out really good.
what about the racing or the garage, the culture in the O'Reilly series? I've always thought that the Cup garage and the O'Reilly garage were completely different. And, the Cup garage is very, very competitive and cutthroat, just from one individual to the next. In the O'Reilly garage, it's very casual, more laid back. At least that's what it was like when I was there as a driver and competing. But, what's the difference in the two series?
A lot of what you just said, honestly. A lot more smiles on faces walking around the garage, that's for sure. And the Cup garage has changed a lot over the last 10 years, the way that you go through tech and you don't have, a big practice. You're not in the garages beside each other, kidding with each other and doing different things throughout the weekend. So that's changed that side of it. But, it's just more relaxed. That part's been a lot of fun for me, just getting to know everybody. And a lot of them are old Cup officials anyway. Mm-hmm. So I've had good relationships with all of them for a long time. And, in this series, it's still way competitive. It's hard as crap to win races. And, we've definitely figured that out. We've had fast cars, but we need to get in victory lane. And I think once we knock one off the checklist, we'll knock a lot more off.
One of the things that's new for you is working with, young drivers and trying to help, younger drivers, less experienced drivers, establish, kind of some racecraft and all that, and turning them into, champions and winners. Of course, you did work with Josh Berry when he was new to the Cup Series, but most of your career you've been with veterans. You've been with guys who you really didn't have to kind of check up on and hold their hand a little bit, so to speak. But so this has been a bit of a different experience for you, or is it, how's that worked out? You kind of have maybe a different driver in the car every now and then. You don't have the same guy every single week. What are the challenges with that, or what are some of the things you enjoy about that?
It's actually been a lot of fun, and me and TJ kind of have the same task of letting Carson learn certain things every week, but also standing by his side and pointing things out that he could do better. And he spends a lot of time here at the shop. And I mean, yesterday he was here from from the beginning to the end of the day. Like he spent all day here, and you know, some of those things remind me a lot of that year of working with Josh. You know, you have, you know, just certain things that, you know, ways to communicate, ways to talk about the car. That's probably the things that we talk about the most, is just trying to, you know, narrow down what you're saying, you know, try to pick out the one thing that's going to make you go faster, instead of just, you know, 11 different things that are going on around the racetrack that confuse the crap out of everybody. You know, do we need to tighten it up, or do we need to free it up? There's only a lot, you know, there's only certain things you can do during the race, and sometimes unhooking the back is the only way to make it turn. That's not the fun part for a driver, but just learning those things, and other things, just having confidence, right? Like I feel like Carson's had just a ton of confidence this year, and he goes out there and he qualifies well. We've had fast cars in practice, fast cars in qualifying. We've been able to race really well and lead laps at Phoenix, and had a dominant car there, and just all those things have been a lot of fun. And then the other side of it with Connor, you know, my first race with him is taking him to Coda, and he's just incredible on those road courses, and sit on the pole and, you know, leading the race. And then we broke a brake rotor and had to kind of ride around the whole second stage until we could replace that. But to watch him drive from 30th back to 4th, you know, before the end of it was crazy. So I haven't got to do a lot with Connor yet, you know, so hopefully we'll have some fun this weekend at Bristol and learn a little bit more about each other. And we have a lot of races coming up together over the next little bit. So hopefully we can kick that off this weekend on the right start.
Yeah, it's quite a challenge, I think, for you just as an individual crew chief to, you know, if things go as planned, you're going to try to race for a championship with Carson in the playoffs, and trying to figure out how to be successful with Connor, have Carson prepped and ready when the playoffs begin, so it's as if y'all had been together the entire season. That's going to be a challenge that I think is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. You as an individual, last question. You as a crew chief, you as a mechanical mind coming into this series, working on these cars, none of this stuff is foreign to you, but you're learning the series, you're learning, you know, what makes these cars tick. You know, if you were filling up a bucket, right? Trying to figure out, you know, trying to find your groove. How full is that bucket? How much more do you get? How much more you think you're gonna pour into there before you feel like you got your master of, you know, trying to make the car work, trying to bring in all the years of experience that you have to prepping your car and going to the racetrack and having all the bells and whistles ready to go so the car is really fast out of the gate.
Yeah, you know, so far I've been really fortunate. Like a lot of the sim tools and the things that I used to look at to, you know, whether it's geometry or shocks or brakes or this or that, like all of it has worked very similar to everything that I was used to, and the things that I thought were good in the past have been good still. And so that's been good for me, is, you know, just to do what you think is right. You know, and like there's been a few times I've went to Bummy and said, you know, what do you think about this or that? And he's like, you just need to do what you think's right. And for me, that's perfect, right? Because if you ever go to the racetrack, and I've been in situations where you go to the racetrack and right off the get-go, you're unloading the car with something that you don't even believe in, you know, your whole weekend's messed up. Your mind doesn't work right. You don't make good decisions. And so far, I've been super fortunate that the things that I thought would work have worked. And it keeps my mind going, and, you know, I keep, you know, thinking about things the right way and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we're going to have good weekends and bad weekends. Sometimes we're going to do something that's not going to work, right? But, you know, so far it has, and, you know, we're going to continue that. But the rest of it just comes down to just little details, you know, over time, you know, making the cars a little bit better, a little bit lighter, trying to do all those little things, you know, that push you to be better. So, it's different racing in the in the O'Reilly series. I went for years with SHR with no budget, right? And like we had every gadget and more wind tunnel time than everybody, and that's one of the things on this side. We have hardly no wind tunnel time, so you're just kind of going off your gut on some things. But I'm still learning every week. Super fortunate. I've got a great race team, and I think this group can go a long way together.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for giving us some time this morning. I know you're off to the sim to get better, and looking forward to the race this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're going to talk Cars Tour later. The Cars Tour suspended Doug Barnes for a race for rough driving, intentional crashing. We had an appeal. I guess we go ahead and go to that now. We're going to jump around a little bit. We set up an appeals panel because Doug was able to appeal this penalty and decided to do so. Now, I want to explain to everybody how this works so they know. We've only had one previous appeal, and that was a year or two ago at North Wilkesboro. It was a technical penalty that came post-race for the winner. It's a really tough spot for all of us to be in. But so we don't often deal with appeals, at grassroots racing or at the Cars Tour level. We don't really want to be doing appeals that often, and we try to officiate our races in such a way that we're not going to have an appeal every week. Because what happens when a driver says, "Hey, I can't appeal this and I want to appeal this," they have to write a check to file the appeal. That's a payment they make to the series to make the appeal. They have to be willing to do that, for one.
Dang.
Yeah.
You make them pay for that?
Yeah, I'm right.
I think it's every level has. I mean,
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, what the series? If you write me that check, TJ, and want me to, I got to go outside of the series and put together the panel. And so, nobody better than David Hoots, who ran the NASCAR booth,
Oh, yeah.
race control for many, many years. Nobody better than him to orchestrate the appeal. He's not going to have voting power. He's just going to officiate the actual appeal, right? So we get him. And then what you do is you kind of look out over the landscape, metaphorically, of the motorsports industry, and you try to find people that you think have strong character and that really have no favorite in the game, right?
But understand it.
Yeah, but they understand it. So we got Bonsas, who works in the late model ranks on with pros and supers and has been around the garage and industry for a long time. Freddie Query, who was running tech and had a role with ASA and has been a driver for years.
Yeah, very accomplished.
Raced forever and has been around short track racing and cars for a long, long time. And God dang it. Jefferson Hodges, well, Jefferson Hodges has actually worked here at Junior Motorsports before, but he's now with Penske Racing as a GM over there. But he comes from short track racing. He drove, he worked on cars for us and for Rick Townsend, and just a well-respected individual throughout the industry. So those are the three people that we asked if they would, and we had a list and we asked them. They were the first three we asked. They said yes, and so I'm like, man. I called Doug and I said, Doug, I'm glad you're getting to file this appeal. I think we put together a panel that you're going to really like. And, by all means, like, put your case together and come forward with all the evidence that you think you got, and we'll see what they decide. And this is an interesting situation to be in. So when I watched the race, going back to the actual penalty, in my mind, I thought, and I still think, that Doug intentionally crashed another driver, okay? And so the precedent from the past has always been a one-race suspension. Minnie Tyrell was equally aggressive, but he didn't intentionally crash Doug. So I couldn't suspend Minnie a full race. Maybe we could have, but what should have happened in the moment, Doug and Minnie, obviously, I think, should have been parked in the middle of the race. Like, after the incident, guys, go to the garage, don't come back.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened. It didn't. We didn't do a good job there. That's where the series itself made a misstep. Post-race, we decided, okay, this guy intentionally crashed somebody. What have we done in the past? Every time in the past, we have suspended the guy for a race. We're losing a little bit of control of our races. They're getting wilder. They're getting rougher. We're trying to clamp down on that. We're trying to get the attention of the drivers. That's not going to be something that fixes itself overnight. So we felt like we had to react here. What had happened in the past? Guys have been suspended a race, so that's what we did. We made the announcement that we're doing it. Got a lot of pushback. People don't understand it, but they're not running a series. They don't understand the integrity that we're trying to maintain and all those things. So Doug's upset, really mad, because he feels like he got the end of the deal. His car's destroyed, and he's the one getting suspended for a race while he thinks Minnie was just as guilty. Understood. So Doug wants to appeal. By all means, Doug, file your appeal. We're going to put together a panel. I trust this panel. Whatever they decide is good with me. And so Doug goes to the appeal. They heard his point for about an hour, and then Kip goes in first for the series to explain the series' point of view. Then the driver or the team comes in, and then they may ask somebody to come back in. But eventually they deliberated for a couple hours and decided to change the penalty. Doug will not be allowed to go to the open practice on Thursday. He will not be allowed to practice on Friday, but he can show up Saturday. There's 2 20-minute practices that morning. He can show up Saturday, practice, and qualify and race at Nashville. So that was the change to the penalty that the appeals panel decided. And that's what they do, man.
What do you think? How did Doug? What do you think?
Doug seemed to. Doug, I talked to Doug after the appeal. I said, "Hey, I'm glad you got heard. I feel good about the panel's decision. I already did, but I didn't even know what their decision would be. But I knew we put the right people in there. This is what they came back with." And I asked Doug. I said, "Hey, is there anything we can do better? Did you like the process? We've only done a couple of appeals in our series. Is there something that was good, not good?" And he's like, "Man, it was really professional. I enjoyed it. It was a good deal." So
did they say why they
did not want to?
That's what I was wondering.
So this is what I've been told through multiple people. I've not spoke directly to the appeals panel or any of the individuals. I did text them all and thank them for their time because they volunteered their time to do it, and they got to do. But I was like, "Hey, thank y'all for doing this. I really appreciate it." And what I was told from Kip after he was done and heard everything that he heard, they wanted the penalty to still have some teeth because they don't want the drivers driving that rough, but they didn't want to take away Doug's opportunity to run a marquee event like Nashville. And Doug is in the middle of a season-long points battle. Doug wants to be a part of the Cars Tour. Doug wants to be a good representative of the tour and himself.
And he has been.
Yeah. And so they did challenge Doug at the end of the day to be the veteran in the room, to be the guy that's setting a better example for the younger drivers, not a guy that's diving into the same shenanigans that we're seeing out of some of the other drivers in the field. And so I thought that was great. Good for Doug. I'm sure he learned a lot from this. We certainly do. Every opportunity we get as a series, we learn a lot. And Wake was a big, Wake was as frustrating as Wake was as a series. We got to come out of there better. We got to look back and reflect and come out of there better, and I feel like we have. Rockingham's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. We're going to have an open practice on Friday and Thursday and Friday. And there'll be an opportunity, I think, in there to have some conversations with the series.
You said Rockingham. You meant Nashville?
I'm sorry, Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah. So Nashville, I still got Rockingham on the mind. Nashville will be a good weekend. We're going in there Thursday and Friday to practice, and then we'll have a little bit of practice on Saturday. And honestly, I told Doug this too. He's got enough connections in the series that I think that even though he's not going to get to practice on Thursday and Friday, there'll be some information that he can benefit from that guys are going to learn to be able to hit the ground on Saturday and be in the ballpark and still have a productive weekend, even though he's not going to get to practice Friday and Thursday. So, yeah, that's kind of how all that went down. we live and learn and we move on.
Do you, as an owner, want to know, though, why they changed the appeal so that you can adjudicate things better going forward?
Well, I'll say this. If I think a guy intentionally wrecks another car, I'm going to give him a 1 race suspension tomorrow. My precedent for that type of deal is the 1 race suspension. And I feel like that with the way our guys are racing and how we're knocking the rocker panels and the noses and the tails off of these cars all through the field. At Wake, if we had 30 cars on the racetrack, all 30 of them suffered some damage of some kind. And that's unacceptable. And so I think, we need to be tougher. We need to be tighter. We need to start drawing some attention to some of the rough driving and try to steer our series back in a better direction. And so if I think a guy intentionally crashes somebody, I'm going to give him a 1 race suspension.
Do you park him that race if you see it?
If it happens in the middle of the race, yes. The ones that have sometimes it happens after the race, right? Sometimes, like Carson Quapple was doored for 3rd spot or 2nd spot at Tri-County in turn 3 and 4 on the last lap and crossed the finish line and wrecked the kid in turn 1. And he got a 1 race suspension. We didn't even think about appealing it. Jack called me, who owned the series at the time, and said, "Hey, man, I got to put your guy out for a week. I hate doing it, but I got to." I'm like, "You got it, man, no problem." And so we set out. Josh Perry wrecked Bobby McCarty at Ace in the middle of the race. Bobby wrecked Josh in turn 3, and Josh waited and turned him around on the front straightaway. And Josh pulled in and parked and said, "All right, I'm done." And they called us that week and said, "Hey, you got to sit out a race." So Josh stopped his car after he wrecked Bobby and pulled him, parked his car, and then still got suspended a race. And we didn't appeal that. We're like, "Yep, understood. We know what we did, and we're gonna we're gonna pay the fine." So that's the precedent for me. Is if that happens tomorrow, I'm penalizing the guy a race. If they want to appeal it, by all means, they can appeal it. So we've got to figure out how to get our series to race a little cleaner, and I'm not gonna. I think that's the way to do it, is to keep the penalties harsh and trying to keep drawing attention to. This is what happens if you get in the middle of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
So going back to Rockingham, there's after a great successful weekend, a lot of questions around should the Cup Series go to that racetrack. I don't know. I think it would be a good race. I'd love to see the Cup Series back at Rockingham.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us knew in 2004 that we were running our last Cup race there.
One thing I like about Rockingham that is the entry of the corners is really tight. Like when you're side by side with somebody, it makes racing, you're going into a funnel kind of. And I mean, there's going to be contact at times, especially when that's what it's close racing. You got guys that are going to be really good on the bottom, and you're going to have guys that are good up top. And I don't see how a Cup car doesn't move around there with the right, Goodyear's been doing a great job bringing tires. So I think the race will be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty fun. You can go some places and the atmosphere just feels right. It tracks like it feels like that there.
Okay.
Like it just,
It's
you
where we
feel like
belong.
you're supposed to be there.
Supposed to be there. Yeah. Well,
I know that's weird, but
no, it isn't. It isn't. I just feel like there's still part of me that's kind of annoyed that we left in the first place. But I'm trying to, get over that saying, just like it's kind of like this falls into the bucket with like full season points and all that, and I'm just so exhausted with.
Yeah, why would we ever leave there to begin with?
I know, and so I don't want to kind of beat this dead horse, or rehash all of the hurt feelings, over all that, But yeah, I mean, I would love for us to go back there, and but there seems to be a battle, I think, that NASCAR is kind of having within itself as at the top, the executive level of, man, we got this core fan base that loves Rockingham, loves full season points, loves all these things that are very traditional and connected to the history of the sport. But we also have doors opening to us that weren't open before, like racing in San Diego is a great example. The Chicago Street Course, like those were not doors that were open 15 years ago.
Oh my gosh!
But now there's all types of opportunities and cities that are like, hey, come on over here, come do this. What can we? How can we have a NASCAR race? Where should we? And so nobody's building any new racetracks, and so they're like, well, let's figure this out. Let's race in a stadium. Let's race on the streets. Let's race here. Let's race there. And so NASCAR has all these shiny new things and all these people that want to have conversations. And they look over here and go, yeah, Rockingham, that's cool. But, we did that. So they're in a tough spot, of deciding, because there's not enough dates. There's not enough days in the year. There's not enough, there ain't enough calendar for all of it. And so something has to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a good problem to have at some point. You got a lot of places to go, right? I mean,
Well, it's a good problem unless you're one of the places that gets left out.
Yeah.
And you got these contracts where these tracks already probably have agreements for. So it's like, how do you remove?
Yeah. Well, I think that the agreements have shortened up to where they're 1 to 3 years. I don't know that they're that adhered to like they were in the past. The schedule is much more malleable and changeable than it has ever been. And so, and NASCAR wants that. They want the opportunity to act fast. If an opportunity pops up, they want to be able to make that change and fit it in and shoehorn that in. I think it's a simple solution that actually might take some time, though, is to dial back some of the double dates. That's what's kind of happened in the sport already. Is a lot of tracks that had 2 races has been dialed back to 1. We've seen that be a success for a lot of racetracks. And so, maybe there is another venue or 2 on the schedule that goes from 2 to 1 races a year, to be able to add on, tack on this new opportunity or this old Rockingham. NASCAR looks at the geographical footprint a lot, I'm sure, and says, where are we racing? Do we need to race another event in the state of North Carolina instead of going over here where we are nowhere, where we have no race,
Yep.
right? No races within a state or 2. They're going to go for that new opportunity every time. But, there's some racetracks that, the Rally Series goes to that I'm like, why? I don't want to single anybody out, but there's a couple of racetracks that we go to. I'm like, what are we doing here? Why are we at this? Cup's never going to come here. Why are we here? But that it's way out of the way.
There's definitely a couple of them.
Yes, and I think having the Xfinity Series, the Rally Series and the Truck Series at Rockingham is a really great compromise. If we can't be there with Cup, maybe we can get there one day. And maybe it's an all-star event, just like North Wilkesboro. Maybe our way back is through that kind of an avenue of having an exhibition there of some sort.
Where would you, if you could pull a second race from somewhere and put it at Rockingham?
I'd have to look at the schedule.
I mean, you got Phoenix, Vegas, Talladega, Bristol.
I would pull a Phoenix.
Charlotte.
Yeah, I'd pull a Phoenix. Do we need to go to Phoenix twice? No.
I mean, yeah.
But NASCAR's going to go, whoa, we can't take one out of the market of the West Coast. What? We already lost Auto Club and
Yeah. And then we do that
Getting-
swing. You kind of do the West Coast swing together when you go to Vegas, but
I don't know. I mean, I'm not.
I think Phoenix is evolving, but
I'm not a big. Phoenix was really great. Then they changed the configuration. I'm not a big fan of, how they drive across the apron. It was a really, really awesome, badass racetrack that didn't need to be changed. But we've seen that not only at Phoenix, we've seen it at other places as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do the what ifs or where, I don't want to on any old racetracks.
I know I like a lot all of them,
Yeah.
but
Well, I don't know how they're going to get it into the schedule, but maybe it's the same route that Wilkesboro took. And I think fans would be perfectly fine with that. Corey Heim is leading the Truck Series points.
Yeah.
But he is not eligible for the playoffs. So he's got 3 starts in this series. The rest of the field, all the other regulars have 5. He's got 2 wins, 3 top 5s, and 3 top 10s. Caden Honeycutt is second in points with 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s. Corey Heim is, let's see, he's actually tied with Caden in total points at 190 apiece. But he has a tiebreaker due to the wins. What's the problem?
He's ineligible for the truck, the chase.
So the question, I think, is should there be an eligibility restriction? Now that we have the point system that we have, should we open it back up and be like, hey, man, you don't have to right now, drivers have to declare for a series. And maybe we don't do that anymore. Maybe we just say, yeah, you don't have to declare.
just let them run if they want to run.
Yeah, if you have enough starts, you get enough points, and you make the playoffs, you make the playoffs.
If you're good enough to race, let's say half the races, but have more points.
I don't care. Yeah, we're fine.
What do you think, though? Should it be limited where, like, non-cup guys, like if a cup driver drops down and dominates, though, do you have an issue with that?
I do.
So I think it should be non-cup drivers that are eligible for O'Reilly and trucks.
I agree with you. I think that
That doesn't happen much.
Sorry?
That doesn't happen much when you say that to Travis.
Yeah. Me agreeing with him.
Did you hear that, Twitter?
Well, I think that you're, this is definitely something that NASCAR could probably just do away with and nobody would really care. And I don't know why it's in place right now, but I don't mind the intermingling between the truck and O'Reilly series at all. But I do love how we have divided the Cup Series driver from these two series. Like they can take part, they can come play, but that's the extent of it. That is healthy. That restriction is healthy for our team. That restriction is healthy for all full-time O'Reilly teams. We do love when the Cup racers come run in the O'Reilly series because more people watch, but we do not love when a Cup guy can win the championship in the O'Reilly series because then he comes down and wins 12 races. 12 races that I need to win, that other teams that run in the series full-time need to win. That eats into our budget and changes our business model. So I'll be flat out honest. When NASCAR restricted the Cup drivers and the Brad Keselowskis and Carl Edwards and all those drivers that were trying to win championships in the O'Reilly series, when they couldn't do that anymore, our business model improved significantly. Now our teams are winning more races. We're finishing higher on an average weekend because we're not finishing behind Cup drivers. And so at the end of the day, our bottom line is better, and we're a more profitable operation. And so I would love for that to not change. But I think that the O'Reilly and the trucks is a different beast altogether. Like I don't mind a truck guy running with us every week. He can run double duty. He can try to win the championship in both. Fine. Hell, we'll employ a guy, drive one of our damn cars if it works out, right? So, because I think that drivers are in the O'Reilly and the Truck Series for the same reasons. They're trying to get experience. They're trying to get racecraft and do the same thing. So, I don't see them very vastly different. Whereas at the Cup level, yeah, I don't want a major leaguer dropping down to the minors every night to pitch and try to help this minor league team win a title, right? When he's overqualified and needs to stay in the major leagues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if Connor went and raced a full, like it's...
Yeah, LeBron ain't playing in the G League, on his off nights.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they need to let Corey Heim.
What did he declare for?
For truck, I thought he declared.
Yeah.
But he's still not eligible.
The other argument, there's another difference of opinion. There are some people out there that feel like that the O'Reilly Series and the Truck Series are not feeder series. They're not minor league.
Yes, they are.
So that's a whole nother debate. So the trucks.
What do you think, Travis?
Here's the story. Here's what I believe the truth is on that. The Truck Series was developed for the Truck Series was developed for one single reason: to sell trucks, right? For the truck manufacturers in the world would have an outlet to race their product and sell it.
That was perfect when it started too.
That was the reason. There's not another reason. It wasn't set up. It wasn't a series established for veterans, like guys that had kind of on the tail end of their Cup careers or whatever. Now that's who came in to race these trucks. But there was also a guy named Mike Skinner, right, or Jay Salter, or a couple other guys that were trying to get up to the top ranking. The Truck Series was developed to market and sell trucks, and so that a Chevy or a Ford could go, yeah, our truck's the best truck. Look at that truck race. It also presented opportunities for guys like Skinner, like Hornaday, to race, right? To finally get opportunity in the NASCAR ranks to race. We also saw a lot of veterans like Musgrave come down and have success in the series. A lot of drivers, Todd Bodine. Yeah, we saw a lot of veterans come down and race in the Truck Series. But that was not the reason the Truck Series was created. It wasn't created as a playground for veterans.
Do you think
it happened to be a great place where veterans did find an opportunity to make a living outside of the Cup Series? Because there was not any more Cup opportunities, but they found opportunity to make a living racing full time. If the Truck Series didn't exist, if the O'Reilly Series didn't exist, and you were a Cup racer that had lost his opportunity, you were because you've got this house, you've got land, you've got this family, you've got all these things, and now you've got to downsize because your quality, your life, and your lifestyle has tremendously been altered. But you were allowed to go down into the Rally or the Truck Series and continue to make a living, continue, the lifestyle that you had. And so that was great. Now, the O'Reilly Series, let's talk about that. The O'Reilly Series is born out of the Sportsman car series that raced in the late 70s. They finally formed into a true series in 1982 with a championship schedule and a championship fund. And since then, it has been called multiple names: the Busch Series, the Nationwide Series, the Xfinity Series. But that series was basically, I guess, what the Cars Tour is today. So in the 70s and early 80s, it's basically like taking the Cars Tour as it is today and developing it further. into a national series that would race on larger tracks, be at more companion events with the NASCAR Big Brother. And so they took it from the South Bostons, the Kingsports, the Caraways. They took that series, those sportsman series that it was. They took it. It only ran at Daytona and Charlotte on big tracks, maybe Rockingham, but mostly they raced at all the local short tracks in the Southeast. Well, it developed into a series that would race more companion events and become what it is today as we recognize it. Now, it was full of local. Now, in the 70s when the series was developed, it was full of Sam Ards, Jack Ingrams, and these were seasoned, weathered, short track, dominant aces. These were guys that could race at any of your local short tracks and and come in and kick your ass, and they'd been doing it for years. But as it started to become more of a companion race for the Cup guys on the weekends, you started seeing some of the younger guys come in that were trying to get recognized and noticed for that Cup opportunity. And so the original identity of both the trucks and the O'Reilly series are far different from what we know today. But what they've transformed into is absolutely your minor league, your AAA, your AA, single A. It is that is what those series that is what they serve at this point in time. You can go down there as Justin Allgaier. You can race in the O'Reilly series as a guy like that and make a living, and that's awesome. And I love that. And we need veterans at every level. We got veterans in the Cars Tour that are career Cars Tour guys. There's guys that race South Boston on a weekly schedule that are veterans and been there forever. And you're going to have them and need them at every point, every level. But the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Series are absolutely where our young guys are going to put the final polishes on that racecraft before they finally get up to the Cup level. And it needs to serve that purpose. It needs to be serving that purpose. It's healthy for the series to be looked at as a place where you got to drop in. You got to drop in and serve a couple years.
I support all that.
Matthew Dillner, our great friend, is not a believer. Yeah, he feels
Really?
he feels like that the Truck Series and I'm not singling out Matt. But he is a person like many that feel like that the O'Reilly Series is its own thing.
Yeah.
It's not less than. It is over here, Cups over here, and Trucks over here. It's not below. It's not this ladder. Yeah.
Weird.
I get his point, and it's a point that many people share, but I don't know. I feel like that over the course of we're talking about all this, the Truck Series started in the mid-'90s. The O'Reilly Series kind of started officially in '82. That's a lot of years of a lot of evolution and changing and molding and shifting, pivoting. The identity has absolutely changed of those series from what they originally were. And so, but I love that, man, they've got Rockingham and Cup doesn't. So, they've got a couple racetracks that they go to where they're the headliner.
Yeah. I would like to see them put IRP back on there, or ORP.
Freaking A, right.
That'd be awesome.
I would love to see O'Reilly go to South Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, and South Boston is primed and ready for an O'Reilly race. Are you kidding me?
It'd be great.
It is a badass, racy little racetrack, and they're doing some great things over there with their regional racing. And that track has always had a solid foundation. They've got a lot of great people over there right now that are getting the best out of it, as we all hope. And it's kind of the standard setter for what regional racing should be, can be, around the Southeast at least, for a lot of our tracks that are still operating in this sort of Mid-Atlantic region. And so, I think you'd see a pretty awesome race there if you took the O'Reilly Series there. Maybe the trucks. I don't know. I'd rather see the O'Reilly Series there myself. But
I think you take them together.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah, sure. Why not? I don't know if that's even a topic of conversation, but I'd rather be talking about that than Cup to Rockingham.
Do you have live pit stops?
You don't have to. I mean, I would be fine sacrificing something as trivial as pit stops for them to be there, for actually racing there.
Let these guys show who's truly the best driver.
But they have a long pit road, TJ.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
They have two
They have
sides,
enough
honestly. There's
yeah,
a front
they
and a
have
back.
Yeah, they have enough stalls.
Yeah.
But it would probably be best to do no live stops.
I mean, you could do 150 and 150, couldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the trucks used to do all the time.
Yeah, line them up, go.
And then you'll find out who the true best driver is and not losing spots on pit road and they're the best driver out there that day.
Yeah.
150 laps is a decent long run there.
Yes,
so
sir.
I think that'd be great.
That's a lot of laps. Yes, sir. That'd be fun.
It would be.
Wait a minute now. You're talking about getting rid of the stages?
Oh,
You just did.
Yeah, kind
Did you just get rid of some stages
Well, you can still,
and actually, make sense?
you could get rid of the stage. I mean, you don't have to get rid of the stage.
I love
say it, TJ. Say it with chest.
You
Yeah.
could pay the stage points. Just keep on racing and
Yeah.
don't stop.
Have a halfway break at 150.
Yeah.
You give you stage points as
I don't give stage points at
Give-
100 and
give
200
them at
and
100,
300. I don't
200,
care.
but don't throw the yellow. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Look at
Don't
that
stop the
idea.
race.
What an idea.
Let's go.
So we start this weekend.
Yeah. I guess since our card guy isn't here, we can have a conversation. But I do want to get a card guy. So me and TJ we're card collectors. Now I would put myself in the novice casual
Oh, definitely. Both
category, right? Okay. I was collecting cards years ago. Didn't know about what I was doing, but I ended up keeping all my stuff and I got it all back out, and now I'm deep into this again. And I don't know about it, and it has changed.
of us. Oh, it's way different.
They got a language. They got a whole glossary that you need to learn. And so we're going to bring in a card guy to help us one day in the next couple of weeks. I want to get a card guy here to interview and see if we can, learn some of the things that we need to know about doing this well. And so what I wanted to talk about, I had this whole list of questions. We're going to try to get somebody in here today, but we're going to do it next week, I suppose, about, just some unwritten rules about card collecting and when do you get your cards graded and all that bull. But one of the things I wanted to ask the guy is this, and you got some explaining to do.
Me?
Yeah.
All right.
So look, I don't know the real answer here. So maybe there's something I learned and about this. But I said, I'm going to bring a box of cards in here and open them up.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down on the table and I opened up this box of cards and I gave you 8 packs
Mm-hmm.
and I kept 8. We opened them and you took your 8 packs home and I took my 8 packs home.
All right.
I went over to your house. You're like, come on over. Let's open some cards. I go over to your house and we opened up a box of football cards and I had the cards in front of me and I said, hey, man, you want me to see what these are worth? And you go, I'm going to check the values on them later.
Oh, you could have taken them and looked at them.
Why didn't you say?
Oh, I wouldn't have cared.
Taking them and looked at them. Like when
I haven't looked at them again yet.
but what is the code? Like if you're going to rip packs with your buddies and you toss your buddy a pack and he rips it, do you take the cards back?
Well, I mean,
Was it because there was a good Drake May in there?
It's like
Was there?
it's like if you buy a scratch off for someone at Christmas and it hits, if they want to share the
That's
wealth,
kind of what it
winning,
felt like.
But it's theirs to keep. So if you give one to TJ, it's his. Vice versa,
I gave a scratch off to a very good friend of mine this weekend, and he won $350. So he keeps it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say I would probably give you right of refusal if you want. Or first of all, when you got your cars, that box also, didn't they give you that box?
Does it matter where the box
No,
came
it doesn't
from?
matter how he
Well, yeah, it kind
procured
of
it.
does.
No.
If a company sends me 10 boxes for free and I give him 5,
Hey,
they're his. In
I got
my
one-
opinion, they're his.
That's not his problem.
I got one box.
Well, I would give it if I had 10 boxes of cards. I would share and probably give you half, and whatever you
Where's
get,
this
you
10
get.
number come from?
I'm just saying it could be 5 if I give you 2 boxes.
It was 1 box. Well, now we're making it 10 boxes? I had 1 box.
Well, I'm just saying, whatever, if someone gives you something and you're like, here you go, man, you can have half or whatever, I would give you half, and whatever you get, you get.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to ask this guy. I was like, hey, what's the code? Because people sit down and they rip boxes together.
Yeah.
And I go over, I went over to get my hair cut at the barbershop the other day, and a guy was in there with a case of cards, and he was showing me what he had, and he just was like, here, you can have this Cal Ripken.
Dang.
I'm like,
All
really? Just have it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I feel like I don't have any. I didn't bring any.
I know. Yeah. What do you give back?
Yeah. What do you do? I'm learning. Like,
I don't really know. I don't really know what the etiquette is. I mean,
there's a lot of, hey, you said I said, what are you looking for? You're like, hey, Bills players, and I'm a Commanders guy, right? And so I open all these football cards, and I pull like 8 or so Bills players and set them off to the side. Amy's like, what are you doing with them? I'm like, I'm going to give them to TJ when I see him. And I come over here, here's your Bills players.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that started, I gave you that Jaden, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, I'm going to give you that Jaden Daniels rookie because I'm not Jaden Daniels the guy. You are, and I wanted you to have it. So,
yeah.
Which I thought was a pretty nice.
That was very nice. Yeah.
Like gift, already graded and everything too.
Already graded. I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
All right. So what we need to learn from our card guy that we're going to get on here next week is, like, when you're ripping packs with friends, is it
what's
the packs
protocol?
they rip? Yeah, what's the packs they ripped is theirs to keep? Are they ripping packs for you? Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know.
I got a lot of questions.
We'll find out.
Hey, everybody, the 2026 NASCAR season is underway, and it's already shaping up to be another year of hard racing, great storylines, winning moments that remind us why we love this amazing sport. And when it comes to capturing all of that on-track action in collectible form, nobody does it better than Lionel Racing, the official diecast of NASCAR. Their race win diecasts are some of my favorite cars in my own collection. That's because the detail, they look exactly like the car does in Victory Lane. The confetti, scuffs, marks, tire marks, damage, all of it. It's like freezing that winning moment in time and having it right there in your own home and your own collection. Lionel Racing diecast, they're the real deal. And right now, Lionel is offering a free domestic shipping when you use promo code DOWNLOAD26. That's free domestic shipping when you use the promo code DOWNLOAD26. So head over to LionelRacing.com, grab your favorite diecast, and make this NASCAR season one to remember. All right, we got this race weekend's winner in the O'Reilly Series at Rockingham, William Sawalich. William, how's it going, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, well, we're excited to talk to you because, you've won this past weekend, a big deal, winning your first race in the O'Reilly Series. You've been working at this a long time, racing in super late models and pros and all types of stuff over the years, and I've had the opportunity to watch you kind of progress through the ranks. Had a tough year last year. I guess first question out of the gate, as you're going through this past season, how you've always been used to running well, getting in everything and going to the front and running up front. How did last year teach you to be prepared, I guess, for the future and how to move forward?
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a change, obviously, moving up to the O'Reilly Series last year. The field is a lot denser, There's a lot more opportunities for things to go wrong. And I honestly couldn't get the little things right last year. So I think I learned that for this year, and every little thing adds up in a race. And I would usually, take a bad race with me to the next weekend. So I learned to, forget that and just focus on this week and the positives. And it was really just a mindset thing, I think. And not that Rockingham was really any different heading in. We just had a good car in practice, and that just boosted the confidence. And I knew we had a race-winning car, so we had to capitalize.
Well, you certainly did. As that race as the weekend's playing out, you talked about how you felt about the car. As that race is playing out, where where's your headspace? I know when I was younger, and even later in my career, we get in those situations where you feel like you got the race winning car and you're kind of wondering what's going to happen to take that out of your hands, or what's going to change in the race out of your control that's going to, you're going to lose control of the race. Where was your mindset, as you're running out those laps toward the finish?
Yeah, so we led those last 60 laps to the finish, and almost every time I've led an ARCA race, there's always been a late race caution. So I was just praying for that to not happen. But once you take the white, it's just a sigh of relief, and you got it. But honestly, it was pretty calm out front for me. I'm comfortable leading races, and I'm able to get in a better rhythm. And we were so good on the short run that I could build such a big gap that all I had to do was match lap times with Brandon or Brent behind me, my teammates. So my guys definitely brought me a car good enough to, make it easy on me. So all I had to do is really not mess up too bad, and we had it.
Yeah. The process of becoming a race car driver is not something that happens overnight. And you're very young still, 19 years old, and I think we we've kind of normalized having somebody your age in the O'Reilly series, and we expect results right out of the gate. I think that there's been multiple examples of really great race car drivers that needed their time. Joe Logano, William Byron are two examples that stand out to me, and I feel like that. We put a ton of pressure on guys like you when you get these opportunities to start delivering results. I'm sure you've had a lot of people in your ears, helpful supportive conversations around being patient and allowing your racecraft to come to you and allowing yourself to develop. Who have been the people, I guess, who's been in your corner, teaching you patience, waiting on your style and your racecraft in the O'Reilly series to develop?
Obviously all my sponsors and everybody here at JGR, Coach, my team, obviously, my crew chief, Jeff Mendering. Everyone was just super supportive last year on just being patient and letting me learn. And it's tough as a young driver being compared to, other drivers that find success really early. I just kept reminding myself that I need time and I need to learn the hard way. And when you don't find success early, it's definitely easy to get down on yourself. And then, winning last weekend in Rockingham, it's like, okay, I can do this. And I knew I could do this the whole time. So it's just a good little reminder of, I guess, why I'm here.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of excitement around you. There was, coming into the O'Reilly series, a lot of attention on you. And with this win, it sort of reignited everybody's, expectations and hope for your future. What are you doing on the side in terms of physical fitness and things like that to try to develop? You as a driver driving longer races as you want to progress into the Cup Series, I'm sure, one day, trying to find, how was that, I guess, out of the gate, getting into these races, running longer races? I know you've ran some different, super late model races and so forth that are 300, 400 laps throughout the year, but how has how have you physically had to change or improve to get to where you can race today?
Yeah, so the longest race I've ran, I think, before an O'Reilly Series race is the Winchester 400, the All-American 400, Red Bud. So those are super late model races. And when I was that young, I had no muscle, no fat, so I would just burn right through everything and sweat it out. But now I've put on a lot more muscle. I've been weight training. I run sometimes, but honestly, I just do like high rep weight training, and that honestly suits me really well. And I've got to put a weighted vest on. I put sweats on to simulate some of the heat. But once it starts to get like really hot out in the summer, I'll do workouts outside in sweats.
So is that something that you're is that direction you're getting and help you're getting through Joe Gibbs Racing? Who's sort of who's responsible, I suppose, for making sure you're in the gym every day besides yourself?
Yeah, well, definitely myself. I feel like physical preparation for me is something I focus on, like heavily. I feel like it's super important. And Kevin Harvick, he's always told me, if you're physically prepared, then you don't have to really worry about anything else. Like if your neck goes out in the car and that starts getting tired, then that's all you're thinking about. But I've got a trainer. His name's Chris, and we just go to the gym. I tell him how I felt the past weekend in the car, and then if anything, if I was a little tired in some areas, then we'll go to work on it.
Being a younger guy, how much sim work do you rely on? How connected to the sim you are? Every driver is a little bit different in terms of their opinion of the sim and how much they use it. How would you describe that as a tool for you?
Yeah, so we do about 5 hours a week, 2 sessions, 2.5 hours each, and I started off really liking the sim. I still really like the sim, but it's a little finicky at sometimes. If we don't tune the tire correctly, and then you go into the weekend and it's completely off, then it kind of screws everything up. But we've been working really hard on tuning the tire correctly and getting that dialed in for the next race. We did a good job tuning the tires for last year, so every race this year has been really close. I think that's why we've had some more speed out of the gate, is because it's more similar when we roll off in practice. But it's as close as you can get. I really wish we had testing, but obviously the sim is all we got, and we just have to rely on it.
Yeah. Talk about your teammates at JGR. A lot of young guys, but you got Jones, the veteran, in there. How do you lean on them? Who do you get along with? How helpful are they throughout this process?
Yeah, I can get along with anybody. I don't really have a lot of friends in the sport. Like I don't, go around and I'm not searching for friends that I compete against because I don't really think there's a point, because you're gonna get into it with them at some time. But Brandon, I definitely rely on. He's a good veteran, obviously a great guy. If I'm struggling with something in practice, I'll go talk to him. He usually is able to explain stuff to me better than the others. And my crew chief, Jeff Mendering, has worked with Brandon for many years in the O'Reilly series, so we can always, have a good connection through that.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, we appreciate your time this morning. Congratulations on the win. I'm sure one of many, many more as you go through this process. Look forward to racing against you and with you throughout the season. I've enjoyed getting to know you over the years, and I kind of pull for your success, man. Even though you're running under the Toyota banner with JGR, and we're trying to win a championship and battle against you. Love seeing you do well out there, man.
All right, thank you so much. Best of luck to you guys too.
You bet, buddy.
Congrats.
Hey, this is Dale Earnhardt Jr., and for all the latest Dale Jr. download gear, including the I'm Gonna Drink Some Beer t-shirt that we've been talking about here around the office, head over to shop.dirtymomedia.com for all the latest merch. We want everybody to know, thank you for tuning in, for one. And we also want you to know about Xfinity. They're waving the red flag on internet price hikes and the green flag for savings. And you can get speed and the Wi-Fi that you need all locked in one price for 5 years. Mm-hmm. No surprises, no late yellows, just a straight shot to victory lane, just like we like it. We've got a winner in Xfinity. Imagine that. They are a great partner here. I've actually got the chat pulled up for the first time in a long time. So I'm kind of following along with everybody. So we'll get right to it. So we've had a good show. We got Rodney Childers to come in and give us his rundown on how his season's going as part of Junior Motorsports. We talked to William Sawalich, who won his first O'Reilly race this weekend. We talk a little Cleetus McFarland. We talk about Cup going to Rockingham, Corey Heim being ineligible as the leader in the points in the Truck Series, ineligible for the playoffs. So we had a lot of great conversation. I hope you'll tune in when the show is released later today. But let's get right to your questions.
So we were talking about trading cards a little bit ago.
Yep.
And somebody wanted to know, what is something you purchased and a day later you said that was dumb? Have you had any purchases where you're like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure that there's been dumber things that I've done for sure. But one of my regrets was an automobile. I bought a Callaway Corvette, and Callaway is a great brand that built. They'd take Corvettes and they would build a new Corvette every year, and it would have ground effects and just kind of they changed the whole body and style of the car. And I bought a used Callaway Corvette, and man, I didn't drive it a lot, and a buddy of mine laid his motorcycle on it. He had a like a Suzuki or something, like a nice motorcycle, and he parked it in front of the car and accidentally laid it on the nose of the Callaway Corvette. It is he was also a body repair man, so he fixed it. But not that really mattered. But I just remember that being part of the story of the car. Eventually, I just was like, I don't love this car, don't like it, I don't want it, don't need it. This was dumb. I shouldn't have bought it, and I got nowhere near the money out of it that I put into it. And so, lesson learned. And I'll be quite honest, there's not a lot of things that I buy that they're going to always appreciate, but I've gotten maybe a little more selective, I think. So, there's always going to be, we were talking about cards earlier, and I think in the card game, like you want to be smart if you're buying singles. You want to buy the card at a reasonable price for sure. But again, I think what an expert, if we ask the question, right, hey, what should we pay for a card? Like, what is is it 20% over,
Yeah.
10% below
What's
value?
the real value?
What do we pay comparable to the value of the card? And they're probably always going to say, how bad do you want it? Is it a favorite player? Is it a favorite team? Is it a favorite moment? And that's really, that's kind of the answer. If you I like specific players, right? So I'm going to learn about a specific card that player has that's really a great, sought after card, and I'm going to want it, right? And now what am I willing to pay to get it? And that's the value of the card. Because
I agree.
what I have learned is, and I think this is probably true to anything, the value of it is what the last person paid for it. So if you look at the card apps, they're just basically pulling purchases off of eBay. So the car's been sold 6 times in the last year on eBay, and here's all of the things, and they've averaged that, and that's it. It's what is it?
It's pretty good though.
Yeah, but the value is what you're willing to pay for it. That's what happens with land too. So like, you got an acre of property down the road from you that's available, and you think price range, the price range average of an acre of land around your area is 12.5 or 30,000, whatever, right? Well, if somebody pays 45 now, that's what that's worth. It's a $45,000 piece of land, and so it raises a little bit of the value of everything around you because somebody paid this much for that something very comparable down the road. So,
TJ, you got any dumb purchases?
Yeah, all the time. Not really bad though. I've probably overpaid for a couple Josh Allen cards, but like you said, how bad do you want them?
You got a couple for free though.
I did get a couple commons probably, but yeah, no, they're
I gave him some Josh Allen's, just common,
Just common
boring
cards.
old common cards.
He's just unthankful. You were talking about last week the rocket launch. This person wants to know if you had the opportunity, would you get in a rocket to go to the moon?
So, oh man, we were watching last night them going around the backside of the moon.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell somebody they were I was like, man, this is the ultimate daredevil stunt. Like you see people do stunts and you're like, man, I don't have the guts to do that. But like, this is the biggest jump, right?
Yeah.
So, oh man, I'd probably have to really consider it. to be quite transparent about this, right? The first thing you're going to think about, and you might not understand this, Travis, but first thing you think about is like, am I willing? You know, I'm leaving my family. I'm leaving behind everything I know, and if this doesn't go well, you know, just change everything. But so you got to weigh the risk. But I think you have to do it.
That's what I think.
You have to do it. Yeah.
Just to be in that up there, like just.
You know, one of the other things that I thought about this was, you have to do it, but I wonder what. So, all of us in this room, and I'm pretty confident to say this, every single one of us in this room, at some point in that trip, are gonna have a nervous freaking breakdown.
Probably early,
right? At some point, you're gonna go, yeah, okay, I'm ready for this ride to end.
Get me out of here.
And it's it doesn't end till it ends, right? You ain't getting off.
How long are they gone?
10 days.
Hmm.
But they're now at 4.5. They're halfway through. So that would be the thing that I would probably be most worried about. And I wonder how. I mean, this is probably a dumb question, but I wonder how they prepare them, and how they mentally train, right, to stay top of mind, to stay plugged in, to stay, you know, almost robotic about the whole process. Because now, listening to them describe what they're seeing, you can see they're like taken aback. They're like, man, the guy last night, he's like, we're on the backside of the moon. He's like, I wish I could really find the words to tell y'all what this is like, but I don't have them.
That's pretty cool, though.
He's like, I do not have the ability. He's like, we are not equipped with the ability to describe to you what we are feeling and seeing, which was really compelling to hear. And so it makes me badly wish that I too could see that, right, or experience that. But do I have the? Would I lose my at some point?
Yeah.
You know, right? Would we? Wouldn't we? Might we all?
Probably. What do you do? What do they
Right?
do all day? Like, what are they doing?
I mean, they got tasks.
Well, I think they're working.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, what can you possibly work on
they're
all day?
doing. I don't know, dude. They're just doing stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they're up there just like.
There was one moment where they were like, they changed the pressure inside the cabin. Just, you know, there's a test. They were like, you know, did a few things just to be able to control the atmosphere inside the cabin and make sure all those things work the way they're supposed to work. Because that's something that's going to have to happen as they go down into the atmosphere of the moon or whatever, right? And they go land, you know, they have to have ability to change the pressure in the cabin and all that.
They
I
have to fix their
imagine.
toilet.
Yeah. So think about that, right? That's probably what they're doing. They're doing all of these things that they know are going to have to work perfectly on the next flight. And they're doing some things that aren't necessary today or necessary for this particular flight, but they know they're going to be needed and used when they take the next flight, right? So they're testing all of this capabilities of this capsule. And so I think that would keep you busy, but the other thing too is the re-entry, right, into the atmosphere, all of those things, right? There's a lot of very challenging moments still ahead. How do they compartmentalize, right, and not worry or think forward? I don't know, man. I'm a very emotional kind of person with that kind of stuff. So, like, you know, I'm in racing and so forth. It's heavy. It's the pre-race, the post-race, all those things are really big moments, big emotional moments. And so, I don't know. I would need tons of training, right, to be in just this robotic state of just doing my work, not getting caught up in the.
I wonder if it would be hard to quit watching out the window.
That
You
would
know what I
be
mean?
like, yeah, they're telling them, they're like, all right, y'all, don't forget to change. Don't forget to like let someone else get it. You know, don't forget to change windows. And then you know, some folks come away from the windows and they go to work, and the others swap out. Right, it's the way they're describing it. So yeah, like you would, if you're seeing something that you can't even describe, right? You can't even like put words to it. Wouldn't want to take your eyes off of it. They say they're seeing impacts on the moon, like they're watching.
That's wild.
Stuff hit it?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. They're sitting there like, hey, we're watching them flash impacts of things that are landing on the surface of the moon.
And I'm sure they've seen things like, what was that out there? I mean, who knows?
They were like, there's this burning red sort of orb, and they're like, well, that's probably Mars, and maybe you're seeing this and seeing that. And so, I don't know, man. I love it. It's fascinating, and it's exciting. I can't wait to continue to follow their trip back.
Yeah.
And through
get their thoughts too when they come back.
Yeah, the re-entry into the atmosphere and all that stuff, how challenging that is for the spacecraft. This thing, one of the things that I didn't get an answer for there's a camera that's on the outside of the capsule, and it's showing the capsule, right? And there's all these things flying by. And it looks like moths, right? It looks like what moths might look like when they're flying around a light. But they're coming by this thing, and you're like, what the hell is that? Is that like debris, space stuff? What is it? Stuff? Just what is that? It's flying by. And how is that not, what is that stuff, and what is it doing? I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff flying by the capsule in this one clip of one particular shot.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Do you believe in aliens?
That's a big question. I feel like that if space is infinite and we are here,
Surely there's others.
surely there is absolutely there. I would say if I was a betting man, I would bet 1,000% that I'd put all the money on the fact that there's definitely other life forms out there, what they look like, what shape they take, all that. I don't know, I mean, but there is got to be multiple instances of scenarios where life could exist, right? In terms of temperature, water, and all the things that need to be in that sort of equation.
I mean, there might be 100 more Earths that we don't even know about.
Yeah, thousands.
If the alien delegation sent someone here to Earth, who would you nominate from the human race to meet and be that person to start?
Probably you.
Oh my gosh.
Probably Travis.
Who would I
Yeah, pick one
nominate
person.
to?
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's in like Matthew McConaughey.
It's really Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. But I mean, there's a potential that it could go wrong.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I was
So
thinking.
you don't want to lose somebody.
That's why we're not sending you.
You don't want to lose your first string, your A guy. So you kind of got to send somebody that's capable, but at the same time, if they were just to disappear instantly.
Someone in the chat said Ward Burton.
Ward. Honestly, Ward would probably be on the council because he's a man of the. Yeah, he knows what's up with the
Snake catcher.
Aliens like, come again? What'd you say?
Yeah. Ward would definitely be on my council, head of agriculture.
All right. Next question comes from the chat. What's one underrated or overlooked paint scheme you'd like to see a diecast of? Mine would be Schrader's Red Baron car.
A car that needs to be a diecast.
Or one that you don't have that you want.
Yeah, I've got a little list. I will say this, man. There's some cars that are diecasts that could have been better. There's the mold.
Oh.
Yeah. The Monte Carlo SS mold. Dad, there's a lot of customs, and there's a bunch of cars that they made for Dad on the Monte Carlo SS, so like 86, 87. That mold is kind of strange to me. The nose turns down past the, over the top of the front tires. The nose bends over. I don't know. They've gotten so good these days at like scanning cars and making the actual car, like the ones that sit here on this desk, they look to me like everything's in the right place, right?
Yeah, they're pretty accurate.
Yeah. They're not out of proportion or disproportioned or something's funky. But it's a lot of the older stuff, like a lot of the Buick, like the 81 Buick stuff. They got a Mark Martin, a Richard Petty. Those things were really high. Like they, you know, like these cars here, they're kind of all sitting pretty close to race heights, right?
Yeah, the rear's a little probably high, but
They're a little high, but like some of the stuff they made in the past, just like I had the Mark Martin 1981 Buick Mark Martin car, and then I had the I had a couple of the 1981-ish Buicks. I have a Richard Petty and a Mark Martin, and then the number 2 Stacy car. And I take the damn front, I take the front springs out of the front. I take them apart. It's a couple screws, and I take the damn springs out so they'll sit lower. So they're a little closer to ride height. I can't stand to look at them when they're like that. But there's stuff like that I'm just kind of particular about.
Will you get a Hocevar's throwback from this year if they make it?
Yeah, I would take that. I would say, you know, I'm biased, so I'm going to tell you a couple people are going to go, yeah, that doesn't move the needle for me. But Dad's Buick from the 1979 Daytona 500. Somebody had to make that in a custom because they don't actually have a mold for that actual car.
Yeah.
I would love a set of Donnie Allison, Kel Yarborough crashed versions from the 79 Daytona 500.
That'd be neat.
The 2 Oldsmobiles. Like, why don't they make that set and sell it of the 2 cars post-race? AJ Foyt's 84 Oldsmobile Cutlass. I don't know why. That was a beautiful car. All orange, kind of orange, poppy red. Number 14. I don't know, man.
I like those.
I got a long list. There's a lot of dad cars that I don't have that I wish they made. Mostly the Wrangler stuff. Like the Pontiac. So the car that Hocevar threw it back to, the 81 Pontiac Grand Prix, like the cars that are available or were produced in the past of that specific model, it's not a good rendition of the car. Ride height's way too high, and it's just a funky looking. It doesn't look like a cup car. It looks like an actual street version. Like they scanned the actual street car and put that body on there.
Do you want to address the chat?
About what?
There's one thing they keep asking about.
What is it?
Figgy.
Figgy. Who's Figgy?
I don't get it, and I think it's dumb.
You do. Yeah. What damn? Elijah does not think it's
yeah.
dumb. Yeah.
he loves it.
Yeah. Elijah loves it.
He loves it.
Yeah, so explain to everybody what's happened. I don't know how these things
I don't get it.
come out of nowhere.
I don't understand.
Like it literally, from what I could tell, it literally came from a single tweet or some
A Reddit post
on Reddit that there's this mythical son of Dad
Yeah.
named Figgy that exists. I mean, the internet just having fun, I guess. I don't know. It's just being goofy.
The internet's gonna internet.
Like I asked Tim, so I'm like, am I old? Am I missing something
Look,
here?
I don't want to ruin this thing for them because I mean, they're having a good time with it.
I don't think you can ruin it, can you?
Well, if I just said it didn't exist and it was,
Well, I
and
mean,
if I said like Travis, this is dumb, this doesn't it? They'd be like, man,
It doesn't.
what an
But I get it. Yeah, doesn't exist.
Are you sure?
No. I mean, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Are you saying it does?
No. I've done the genealogy. I know the answer.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
He never raced, right?
I'd say no.
Yeah. Is he younger?
Younger or older
Yeah. How old
Then
is
who? Me or
how
Carrie?
old is Figgy?
than you?
Definitely raced.
He hasn't or has? He had 5 straight Talladega wins in college. 5. Yeah.
Now is it real?
Yeah.
Oh. I
Yeah.
guess having fun.
It's interesting how those things kind of
Pop up.
and yeah, the internet's undefeated.
It's something.
This is definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if Elijah didn't create this.
Stop covering up for Figgy. Yeah, Yeah, but it's wild that everyone literally, like how quickly everyone picked up on it and is. It's our entire timeline. Mine, not. Yeah.
It is definitely about 90% of the chat.
Yeah.
from the beginning.
I thought about just not asking it.
You want like things, the things that you want to take off like this, don't. And then
Yeah, this does.
this does.
Yeah.
One NASCAR off week.
Good Lord.
We need more off weeks.
No.
No.
Race on Easter.
Yeah, that was one take that you had.
Take next week.
Race on Easter, so you take next week off?
Yeah. I think Easter, it's ripe.
What's the
It's ripe for
sports?
TV ratings. Yeah, sports you play on holidays.
People are hanging out.
I'm not against drivers. And
I'll say I was hanging out. I was at my fifth wheel in Texas with my family, Amy's family, and we took our fifth wheel up there and was sitting outside on Sunday, and I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to be watching a race. Like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do?
Even Saturday, you were sitting around there hanging
Well,
out.
we got to watch the race.
Yeah, I
It's a
know.
race.
Anyways, everybody, appreciate y'all tuning in. Glad we could address the Figgy Earnhardt speculation, and what a time to be alive when something like that can come out of nowhere and be a dominating discussion in our Ask Junior segment. But hopefully you'll check out the rest of the show. We got a lot of great stuff for you. And thank you, Xfinity, for waving the red flag on internet price hikes. You'll get great savings now. You get the speed, reliable Wi-Fi that you need, all at one price for 5 years. No yellows, no surprises. Straight to victory lane. Xfinity. Imagine that. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, everybody. It's time for the Dirty Modo segment. Presented to you by FanDuel, premier gaming destination in the United States and also here in the studio with our group. We got Tim's on board today as well as Russ, and we had an off week in the Cup Series. Everybody got a time to place bets elsewhere. Did anybody put any money on Michigan to beat UConn last night?
I did, but I got the spread, so it was 6.5, and they won by 6.
Oh, yeah, it was a sweater there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then, was it a Day Mar or whatever, the big dude for Michigan? I just needed 2 more points out of him, and it was going to be a great night.
Man.
He almost had him at the end. Like, he missed that little layup.
It's an overinflated ball. I'm dead serious. Ask any of the teams. They talked about, like, the one time he dribbled and went above his head. Like, the teams were talking about the basketballs in the tournament were overinflated.
It is sketchy that one
They were
way.
just trying to avoid Deflategate.
They were.
Yeah.
That
Just
one way, they only made like
extra
1 or 2
precautions.
threes, both teams. It was really weird.
Yeah. I think that's probably why Con has been shooting so poorly here lately,
Overinflated.
Overinflated balls.
as they've been giving Flag the deflated basketballs.
Something
Yeah,
to
much
it.
And
better.
Con is getting the overinflated basketballs.
I think I'm going to make a Con plus 170 Rookie of the Year bet.
I did.
He's plus 170 now.
Dude.
It's ridiculous. I agree with you. It's so ridiculous.
It is stupid. So he was
And the voting for that is after the regular season, not playoffs.
okay.
Okay, so it's coming up.
So it's coming up.
Did you guys bet Corey Heim?
Did
talked about
not.
this.
I don't bet on NASCAR.
Same.
Ass. I'm not allowed.
Tim's. I was talking to Tim's.
I'm not. No, I'm not allowed.
Oh, of course I bet on Corey Heim. It's
It's
the only
frust-
bet I made all weekend.
It's frustrating. I mean, I know I shouldn't be allowed to bet, but you guys get to talk about it and actually make the bets.
It's fun.
Thanks.
It's a great time.
Please tell me more.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, it wasn't fun when Honeycutt was running them down and you had
Yeah.
a Corey Heim bet. I'm like,
Dude.
this sucks.
What a race at the end.
Yeah.
I was sitting there and I'm like, man, there's something going on. You have a flat or something? You got his right front tire going down?
I don't know.
He had an issue.
He
was-
definitely had some
yeah.
sort of
He-
issue.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, oh, God,
Yeah.
this is how it ends. It's always when you have the surefire bet that's going to happen. But he hung on.
Well, not with me. Every time I make a surefire bet,
It's
wins.
ridiculous.
yes. Well, we got the Cup Series back after a week off, and they're going to Bristol. Vegas has Kyle Larson as the favorite at plus 400, Denny at plus 550. Man, that's interesting. I would take Denny over everybody at Bristol. I mean, Denny has won there time and time again. Ryan Blaney at plus 650, Christopher Bell 700, and William Byron at 1,000. What's the predictor saying, Russ?
We're very close. Larson, Hamlin, Bell, and then I have Blaney and Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs is really good there.
Yeah.
So he'd be your sleeper pick here. What's he at for odds?
He's plus 900 to win. Not the best. It sucks.
I know.
Well, it's better than Byron, who's plus 1,000.
Yeah, I would pick Gibbs over Byron.
Yeah, me too. Tim's, do you think do you take Denny over Larson here?
I do. I'm not sure if it really matters, but I'm kind of nervous about Hendrick's performance so far this year. I know Chase just won Martinsville, but I think Denny and Gibbs are just running better. So I'll take Denny. Plus, he's not the overall favorite, so I like that a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, and he dominates here. So
What do you think, TJ?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to go against Denny at Bristol, and I think Larson's really fast as well. To me, if Denny can get his car working around the bottom more, he seems to find more success, I think, when he can do that. Larson is a groove move up, sling it around the high side. He's really hard to beat when it turns into that. But I definitely think, I don't know, Bell's been really good here recently as well, I think. But, I mean, all these guys, to me, are the top four. Larson, Denny, Blaney, and Bell would be, I think they're all about even to me.
Yeah. I I think that Bristol adds some challenges for drivers. Just a very, very difficult racetrack, tight. Anything can happen. A lot of opportunities for things out of their control to take them out of the race, much less out of the lead. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like that in those type of situations, I trust Denny Hamlin, race manager. He's good at just kind of not making the little mistakes.
yeah,
One of the best at just sort of letting the race sort of come into his lap. And
He's very consistent.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like Larson is going to be, I would give Larson the opportunity to be faster and to go out and actually outperform Denny in parts of the races. But
So they're going to, I don't know, I think they're probably going to spray the track too. So that,
well, is that unique? I mean, they do that every year.
yeah, but I mean, I think it makes the track goes through an evolution. The grips on the bottom, grips up top, the bottom 1 and 2, top 3 and 4.
Yeah.
The sleeper to me would be I know it's been rough this year, but Stenhouse usually finds his way to be pretty decent here.
Just awesome top 10 bet
yeah,
every time
Yeah.
you go to this racetrack.
100%.
He's racing the truck race. He's going to have a little idea of what track's doing, how it's changing. I know they might continue to treat it throughout the weekend, but
What's Stenhouse top 10?
I think it's like plus 550. So that's a one that's automatic. Just put a little bit on it because it's one of the best track probably.
Yeah, he just knows how to stay in it here.
What about Hocevar, top 10 bet?
I don't know, man. I feel like that is a very 50-50 proposition, man. It's a chaotic sort of racetrack, and sometimes that's perfect for him, and sometimes that he falls into the chaos.
I don't
He's
love
been
good way to
11th
put it.
better in 3 of the last 5 there.
Yeah.
I don't love him on a
He
short
ran
track.
really well there last year.
He's a short track guy.
I know, but I feel like it's an easy opportunity for guys to rough him up. And
No. I'm not worried about
you
I'm
don't
not
think
worried
that-
about
you
that.
don't think
using him
so?
up.
That's what I think about. If he's 10th and the guy wants to move him for 10th, he's moving him, and my bet loses.
I mean, I see what Russell's saying. What did you say? 3 of the top 10s in the last 5 races?
He's been 11th or better in 3 of the last 5 there.
11th or better. Why
3
would you
of
have
the
11th?
last-
Better than Stenhouse. Like
3 of the
Stenhouse has
last
like
5.
one top 10 there in the last. Let me see what it is.
But in the other ones, the other ones are probably really low.
Stenhouse in the next gen at Bristol isn't as good as Stenhouse in the Gen 6.
No,
Correct.
But if you look at betting odds though,
Or Gen 7.
Stenhouse being plus 550 versus Hocevar being plus 135, it's probably worth it more to do Stenhouse and play the risk than Hocevar get 11th.
Yeah. I would roll it. I just feel like Stenhouse knows how to grind it out here and just stay in it all night. So,
Yeah. Who else is that we haven't mentioned who's a sleeper?
Ooh, you guys are gonna love mine. I like Brad and I like Barry.
Oh, Barry, I can see hanging around in the top 15.
Top 10, he's plus 280, which I
Yeah.
think is very, very like undervalued for
Yeah.
him.
Brad, though,
I like
for sure.
Brad.
Brad
Yeah.
for sure.
Brad
Brad's
for
plus
sure.
120 for a top 10. That's good.
I'd take that.
Yeah.
I'd take Brad and Hocevar and leave Stenhouse off.
Okay.
Oh, I talked him into it.
TJ, don't
Yeah.
screw us up if we bet Brad.
No promises.
If you don't get top 10, don't come back.
Well, what about the Masters this weekend? It's getting ready to start up on Thursday.
Oh man.
Gonna
Good
have
time- good
lots
time
of
of year.
bets.
Really? What are so? I rarely bet golf.
I don't even know
I
where
do
to start.
Well, I had a little fun last year. I think in a tournament or two betting top 20s, but you know, what do you guys? What do you bet? What are some of the bets you like to make?
You got to do the top countries,
You can do top regions. So you can do
top
like
regions.
top Nordic, top Spaniard.
Jeez, oh,
I'm
man.
not doing that.
I'm
Yo,
not
it's
doing
fun.
that.
It's
No.
the best.
There's like three. Some of the countries have like 3 people in it. It's super easy.
Oh,
I don't even know where to start with that. Though.
Easy's definitely a loose term, but it's fun.
yeah.
I love to make or miss the cut. To get like 3 or 4 golfers that you think are going to make it, obviously.
Mhm.
But FanDuel has like a bet reset. So like if you do a first round bet and the bet doesn't hit, it'll reset for you. Kind of like a no sweat.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
not bad.
And I love the just the matchups. Like once they put the pairings out.
I got you. So once the pairings come out, you can this guy versus that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of like what we would do. We'd have some pairings. Sometimes you just pick the guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm with Tim's. Tim's, Russ, Latart, and me will put together what we call the United Nations parlay. Each of us will pick a top region player and put it together for a big parlay and hope it hits.
Yep. Russ, what's your thoughts?
I go Hideki, top Asian every.
That's mine. You can't take it.
He's good here too.
He is. It's great.
But like Ludwig Oberg is going to be one guy that I think I could have a good week.
Yeah, he's plus 1,700 to win. I like Ludwig as well.
I don't know if I'm going to do to win just because the odds of me guessing
Yeah.
the correct person.
It's
but
hard in golf, but
he's just kind of like a machine, and I feel like that's kind of what you need to be at Augusta. Like, just stay focused, not too high, not too low, and he's kind of one of those guys. But I'm worried that he hasn't played there enough, and so it's like you need to really learn that course and know when to go for it, where to avoid the mistakes.
Yeah. Well, the Dirty Modo segment was brought to you by FanDuel. Thank you, Russ. Thank you, Tims, for coming through. FanDuel, the premier gaming destination of the United States. All right, thank y'all for joining us in the Arby's studio. TJ, great job today. Don't forget about Arby's new meat in 3 box. Get more meal for your money at Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.